Thanksgiving, a day for giving thanks to God, spending time with family, feasting, football, and of course, games. After the turkey's been carved and the dishes are done, it's time to gather around the table for some classic family fun. When the post-turkey haze sets in and everyone's looking for a fun way to unwind, board games come to the rescue. And of course, this is a top 10 list, so I'm not thinking that we've got every game covered. We'd love for you to tell us about your favorite game that you play in this setting every year. Without further ado, here are our picks for 10 games we played as Gen X after Thanksgiving. You're experiencing a Gen X Flashback. Kicking it off with number 10, we've got the game Trouble. Now, this was released in 1965. This game is all about racing your pieces around the board while trying to get them home without getting sent back to start. It was a lot like the game Parcheesi, if you've ever played that, with one big twist. That big, iconic, pop-o-matic bubble. Nothing beats that sound when you're rolling your dice. We popped that thing so many times I thought we were going to break it. It's a lot of fun knocking off other players too, but don't get too comfortable. One bad roll and you are in serious trouble. See what I did there? Moving right along, number 9, Yassi from 1956. Playing poker with dice? Well, heck yeah. Shake those dice and roll it for a full house, large straight, or the holy grail, the big Yahtzee. Or maybe multiple Yahtzees. But let's get real. The real drama comes when somebody nails a Yahtzee right off the bat. First shot, it just really ruins the rest of that game. And at the end of the game, didn't you hate scratching off things you couldn't roll? Like a large straight or 4 of a kind? Why they gotta be so hard? On to number 8, Battleship. Launched in 67.
H6, you sank my battleship.
This game combines strategy and luck in a naval battle showdown. But the real joy? Watching your opponent's face crumble as you sink their last ship. Now, my brother and I played this for hours, but we didn't always use the normal version where it's just one shot per turn. We played the salvo mode. And maybe you guys have heard of this. You get 5 shots at a time. Man, it made the game go a lot faster. Let me know if you played it that way too. Coming in at number 7, we've got Scrabble, that good word game classic from 1948. Whether you're pulling off big plays with like triple word scores or arguing whether QI is a valid word, Scrabble is a battle of brains. Here's a tip though. Always save room for those high-scoring letters. Also, I always thought this game was one of those bone of contention ones that just brings out the competitive side in people. You've always got the ones trying to make up a new word then swear that it's a real thing. Heck, we always kept a dictionary nearby. Sliding into number 6, it's one of my all-time favorites, Risk. I believe this game went all the way back to 1959. It got really popular in the late 70s and early 80s. I remember playing it way back then. A game all about global domination. It was a dice turn game where you battled each other for the world, literally. But man, can conquering the world take a long time. We would play this game and leave off at the end of the day and then pick it up the next day. I remember playing a game over a whole week. The only one longer might be our number 1, but I'll leave that for later. There is a short version of this that you can play where you just take the cards which have the territories on them and deal them out, and then that's what you get rather than picking your territories. Now, before we go any further here at the half point, I want to ask you about house rules. How many of you had specific house rules for all these games we're talking about? And how many of them did you love? Or how many did you hate? Please slip them in the comments below because we'd like to know all about them. Number 5, Connect 4. This started in 1974. Think tic-tac-toe, but bigger and with checkers. Now, this is a deceptively simple game. Very straightforward, or so it seems, but I'm telling you, this one can cause a lot of heated battles, and it's definitely a battle of wits. It doesn't matter, horizontal, vertical, or diagonal. There's always a sneaky way to win. And nothing feels better than watching your opponent realize they walked right into your trap. Gotcha. Coming in at number 4, The Game of Life. Now, this is a family favorite, and it's been around since 1960. What you do? You spin the wheel, you choose a career, and you see where life takes you. Life is one of those disconnect your mind and just have some fun games. And while there's a lot of luck involved, there are a lot of laughs there too. So don't take this one too seriously. Now, here's a tip. Be sure and invest in that college education early on. It definitely will help you retire in style. Number 3, it's Sorry, which is actually the oldest game that we've got on our list here. Coming out in 1929, it's all about sweet revenge. I mean, there's nothing like the satisfaction of sending someone's piece back to the start, while smugly saying, sorry, but don't get too cocky, you'll probably get payback in the next turn. Similar in ways to Trouble in Parcheesi, it beat him to the punch and is now turning 95 years old. For number 2, for the 80s at least, this was the it game, Trivial Pursuit, and it came out in 81. This is a trivia lover's dream. I mean, it covered everything. History, pop culture, science, nature, sports, you name it. It was all there in 6 categories. Got 2 boxes of cards. You got your little circles that held the little pie pieces for when you conquered a category. Now this one popped up everywhere. It didn't matter whether you were going to a family get-together, whether it was the holidays, birthdays, parties, weddings. I'm really not kidding about that one, weddings. You couldn't get away from it. Whether you played on a team or played individually, it was definitely the coolest game to have then. Now I'm curious if any of you had the additional sets, the different categories. I mean, they were lined up to their color coding, but say they were science and nature. But no matter what version you had, it was the coolest way to get your trivia on. And finally, number 1, the king of the family game night, Monopoly, which was actually released during the Great Depression in 1935. Whether you're bankrupting your family or building an empire, this game is all about the real estate tycoon. But you should beware, it's also a quick way to start a family feud, especially if it goes long, which it usually does, especially when the well-fed Thanksgiving partakers are ready for a good nap. My tip, agree on house rules before you start and set a time limit. And as always, remember, it's just a game, right? Right? And with that, my good peeps, we have wrapped it up. 10 games guaranteed to turn your Thanksgiving from a cozy family gathering into full-on competition. Well, just kidding. One thing's for sure, the fun and maybe a little drama is just getting started. Let me know what games you would have taken away or what games you played that maybe I didn't put on the list. I'm sure there's a lot of them. And I do want to thank everyone that's been joining with us and subscribing, and wish you and your family a very blessed and happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching and God bless. Hey, can I get some more turkey over here? Awesome.